watch it. Watch that. That'll be good. And then whoever wins has to face Chris at the game of his choosing.
Yep.
And bear in mind, Chris, right? You can't choose Hearthstone because whilst you have it, whoever's won probably doesn't. So you can't go, well, I win then because you haven't got it. So you can't do that.
I
That's
win
naughty.
by default.
You win by pure fact that you've got the game and the other person doesn't. So yeah. I really want Diablo PvP to be a thing because then you could do something in that, but they just don't seem to be implementing it.
I thought it was.
No, it doesn't exist yet.
Maybe it will once they release this like update.
The expansion.
The expansion, yeah.
Well, they call the expansion an update. There's not enough content to warrant calling it an expansion, so it's just an update.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, what do you think of what game? Like,
Where are you going, by the way? You're just running around.
I don't know. Where am I going to be going? Over there.
Wherever I am.
Okay, I'm on my way. Oh.
Good.
Okay, with the new like free-to-play game business model that is here. What the hell's this? It's like a big drilling tank thing.
What? Oh god, is it that weird? Yeah, is there like a side quest with it?
Yeah, it looks like it, but I can't. Can I click on it? No.
Alright.
I need to go do something before I can do a quest.
Screw it, let's just do the main quest.
Spark Ember Chip. So with the new like free-to-play model, business model for games, like almost not eclipsing other games, but I mean it's become like a viable like business model now.
What, free to play?
Yeah, like in-game purchases.
Yes.
Do you think it'll become more popular, or we'll see less games or more big AAA titles be reduced in price or almost be free, and or become like that business model, or do you think they'll stay the way they are?
AAA games are never going to be free to play, purely because they cost so much money to make, and I don't think unless you're Riot and have LOL and make a crap ton of money off of skins purely because you can, I don't think you can make a AAA game that's free to play and make as much money as you would making it a full price release. Like the thing is, like, I don't mind microtransactions and like buying stuff like in a free to play game, as long as the game's not designed around kind of blocking you from going past a certain place unless you spend money.
Right.
Like, that's what I think LOL gets right, in the sense of like you only ever buy skins with real money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't ever buy power in that game, so it's like it doesn't affect your ability to win games more often.
And I think that's where some free-to-play models have gone wrong in the respect they do power.
They effectively like XP boosts. I'm kind of alright with, because it just means that someone gets to a higher level quicker than you, and I don't really have a problem with that because I'll eventually get to that level if I keep playing, so it doesn't really make much difference to me. It's when they go, oh, you're both max level, but if you pay £5, you could have 100 extra attack or something, and it's like, that's when it gets a bit insidious, and it's just like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, even in full price releases, they're doing microtransactions.
Yeah.
Like Forza on the Xbox One, I don't know whether they've changed this, they probably have, or at least they should have. Forza has a car that you can pay £32 for.
What?
32 of your British
pounds? On top of the game?
On top of £60 for the game.
Wow.
And I'm just like, who in their right mind would do that? That doesn't make any sense. That's £100 on a game, and all you've done is buy a virtual car. You know what I mean? DLC, I'm a little more inclined to agree with, as long as it's not something that could have been in the game when it was launched.
Yeah, they've actually worked on it. Like,
yeah, that like Borderlands 2 DLC seems to be a good example of it. Like Borderlands 2, you get a full game for the money you pay. Like you get a full story, you get a conclusion. It's not the best conclusion ever, but it's a conclusion. And then the DLC is just like a bit of extra story for you, and that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with that. I mean, it's still pretty expensive. It's like 10 quid or 15 quid for it.
Don't have enough money.
But you still got that full experience for 45, 50 quid that you spent anyway, so it's not too bad. It's when they go, here's 50 quid for half a game, do you want to pay 15 quid for the rest of it? And I'm just like, no. Why would you make me pay for a game and then not give me all of it?
yeah.
I just think like there's some really bad practice going on in that kind of area, and I think when it's done right, it's really good. But there's so much of it being done wrong that there's too much incentive for developers to do it wrong.
Yeah, and then just charge way over the odds.
Yeah, and because people still do it, people are still inclined to pay, even though it's unfair and unjust. And I think that's why developers are still okay doing it, because people are still spending money on it. So until people go cold turkey and don't spend a ridiculous amount of money on shit that they shouldn't spend a ridiculous amount of money on, then I don't think it's going to go away, to be honest, which is unfortunate. I mean, like, I remember, like, you know how much I like the Mass Effect series.
Yeah.
Like, the Mass Effect series is probably one of my favourite series of games ever, kind of thing. Like, I remember playing Mass Effect 1, not knowing what the flip it was. I just bought it because the cover was cool. That is literally the reason why I bought that game. I bought it because the cover looked cool. And I played it and I was like, oh my god, this is literally like the best thing I've ever played. It's
Didn't
not, but
the first one have like a almost like a Sundra? Where you
yeah,
just,
it had like it was called a Mako, and it was like a little mobile car that you went onto like planets to drive around on, and it handled like crap. It handled awful, but I didn't care. I was like, that's the time of my life. And like the first two games I really loved. Like Mass Effect 2 is the best out of the three, in my opinion. After playing the three of them, I would argue Mass Effect 2 is the best of the three. Partly because 3 gets the ending so wrong. 3 fucks the ending up really hard. The reason I brought it up is because of the whole DLC talk. Throughout the first two games, I will like be as little spoilery as possible. Probably all played it anyway, so who cares. But like, they talk about the Protheans as like this ancient race who are really important to the story as to why you're even doing what you're doing.
Inventory is full.
And then in number 3, right, there's a Prothean character that you bring to life who can be in your team.
Right.
But he's DLC.
Right.
And you're just like, so in the first two games, you build up the Protheans as this really cool race who are really important and have a real kind of impact as to why this story is even happening in the first place. And then you expect me to pay 15 quid so I can explore that for real in the new game, which I've just spent 60 quid on.
Yeah,
and that,
I remember there being like uproar and everything from it.
I mean, to be fair, more for me because I did buy it. I did buy it because I didn't want to miss out. You know what I mean? It's not something you go, oh well, I can live without it, because I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to live without it because you've built it up to such a massive extent that I want to play with this Prothean person in my team because, well, he was a really good character for a start. He was a really awesome character, but I had to pay for him. So I was like,
you didn't.
I did pay for him. Of course I did. I mean, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
But they built it up to such an extent. Like, I read the wikis for the games. I read like all the backstory, like all the codex stuff I used to listen to, and all that kind of stuff. I was really into the lore, like behind the Mass Effect universe. And I just thought, I can't believe I'm having to pay to learn about arguably one of the most important races in the game. and to have one in my team, even though they've built it up to go, oh, the Protheans, they're really important, they are. And I'm just like, oh, you motherfuckers. I still bought it though.
Yeah.
Stupidly. I think that's the
thing,
only...
like, because you bought it, now they're gonna sell, they're gonna do it again.
Yeah, I know. And it annoys me that I bought it, but I just couldn't bring myself, I was so invested that I couldn't bring myself to not at least buy it and do it, because I wanted to know about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the problem as well. It kind of feels like preying on people, going, oh, we know they're really invested in this stuff, so we know they're going to buy it. And I'm sure they'll
it's
say...
like when Hollywood makes a movie about a comic book character, they know that people are invested in it.
Yeah.
And invested in the lore and everything like that. So, of course they're going to make it, because it's going to make money. They've already guaranteed that it's going to make money.
Yeah. It's just, oh, it's so annoying. And I can understand why it happens, because at the end of the day, money is everything. Like, the whole, like, stuff isn't made if they know they're not going to make any money off of it.
Yeah.
So, it's just annoying. So annoying.
I mean, it is annoying, and it is a business, and the games industry, like, it has... I mean, it kind of... I don't know whether it seemed better before, but I think that's just because we just weren't aware of what was going on.
I think it's hard to argue that the game industry was better when we were younger, because we were younger and we didn't care about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We weren't clued up on the value of money and how
we just didn't.
A business works. We were just like, oh, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it.
It was
and that's all that really matters.